were just seeing what to do and didn't have established who the leader or not. Eventually, it became like it eventually one leader arrived, but at first I think it was more like that.
Well, I felt that the movie was really emotional and heart-wrenching. I cried a few times. I know someone gonna read it too. But touching on the second point, question, for the power that women use, I thought that's the way that they forgave the soldier, like child soldiers at the end, how they were willing to help them. I thought that was just like I started crying. I thought that was just something so big that they did. Like not everyone has it in their heart to forgive, you know. And how they acted more like mentors and like mothers than just like this authority who's just there and like the men were, they were being forceful and they used emotion and they used I guess like they used emotion and reason and they got their way. I just thought that was inspiring.
I like how one of the quotes is that peace is a process, not an event. And I think that kind of ties into a lot of these questions, how in terms of the forms of power have moved from maybe invisible or kind of one person being really charismatic into something that was more transformative. And then same with the new social movement, how it maybe started with the process and it went through all those steps to get to the point where they could succeed and get something they needed.
I think it was an event that sort of I think it was the other day we were talking about resistance to change. Whereas I think the woman in this situation were just almost forced into it. How does that mean? It was like they used invisible leadership because of so many things that they had suffered. It was like they went past the point of fear pretty much. They just went out there and they were kind of like bringing back love to a country that had just been decimated and was starved of love, was starved of normal human emotions. So I think they were trying to return the country back to, emotions again, having emotions, feeling something. And I think that was really what brought their success.
Well, I think in the movie we can saw the different meaning of power from the different points of view. Because I think the government, Taylor Charles, have that coercive and legitimate kind of power, and the rebels have another because they thought that if they have guns, they have a power. And actually, it's very interesting because the women say that they have the same power that Charles had in that time. The rebels was the same. So for me, it's like it's not gonna be the same change. So and the women have the citizen leadership that I think is the most important for us because they don't need be a president or to be a leadership or something because they was invisible and then they change their minds and think about what the power they have inside. So if we can understand in our country, I imagine Mexico and the same case. We have a little war there, and I think that the woman has the same power as the woman of Liberia has. So it's a citizen leadership for me that if we involve in our problems, we can do the same things.
Yeah, and touching on what you said and what has been mentioned, I think that it wasn't only showing you like different types of leadership and power, but also the different tools that they use to reinforce it. For example, like you were saying, the government usually, of course, they're like the most powerful entity in a country. They use that as a tool with rules, through laws, and everything. For example, the rebels, the guns, so arms, and the fear. And so they're always like, scaring people on because of these instruments or these tools that can actually kill you. So that's coercive power. And then you have the women that have such a powerful force, which is emotional intelligence and that spiritual force that we keep on talking about, then you saw that not all of them, spiritual doesn't mean that they all have to be the same religion. And I think that's what the movie also showed. They had a common ground. They wanted to change the situation. They wanted to bring peace. And so I think their most powerful tool not was only like changing the minds of people and like really inspiring peace, but also what science as the tool for forgiveness. That I think we possess it more than men, and we can actually take that step and that like leading by actions. And I think that's also what made them so powerful.
I think just by looking at this way that the women, revolutionized their country and comparing it to how men in the past have done so, like for example in Mexico with the revolution there after our dictator, what was it?
Porfirio Diaz.
Porfirio Diaz. I feel like they won, they stopped, and okay, now what? And I think to Fidel Castro, okay, they won, and then what? They used force of power, and I really like to see that the woman said, no, we're not going to stop here, we're going to keep going, we're going to get everybody involved, and I think that's, like you said, that's what Mexico needs. That's what many other countries need, and I really enjoyed seeing that they got the international support, and that they even, taught the UN, like, we are the experts. You're not the experts. We know our country, and, as a woman, we know our families. So it was really interesting that women have that power to keep going when men just say, oh, we won this video game, and we triumphed, It's really, really powerful.
I think every leader, everybody was a leader. Taylor was a leader. Desmond was a leader. But the difference is about the values for every person. Both had power over people, and everybody was listening to them, but the values of every person was different, and it was really emotional for us. Because Mexico is the situation that we are living is too difficult. I think every woman in Mexico is waking up every morning, and we are asking us that what are we gonna do? Our families are kidnapping, and we can ask for help, and it's difficult because we're watching this, and this is happening in another part of the world. But it's not just about study or watching movies. It's about what are we gonna do? Because this has to stop, and it has to stop now. Because we can't just go away from our countries. Because we are the people that is gonna do something. No them. We are gonna do something. So